We're at the old Bizz Johnson railroad line, as today it's referred to the Bizz Johnson Trail. I'll get into the history later. I just kind of wanted to give everybody a little overview, show you what it kind of looks like. The tracks are still installed partially, but when you get further up there are no tracks. We're in Susanville. A lot of birds. The morning is beautiful compared to yesterday's fog and rains. We did manage to investigate the cemetery when we got into town, and we checked into our hotel, then we went out to the Lass and Ale Works and Pioneer Saloon for dinner and some brews. I had 40 ounces of ales, all different kinds, for $8. You cannot go wrong with that. That is a good deal. And I'm happy. I'm very happy. How can I not be happy? Now it's all trimmed up and there's flowers everywhere. They maintain it pretty well. I love this place. The old Susanville Railroad Depot. Hobo camp. Bizz Johnson Trail. Here's where we are. Oh yeah, it goes for 25 miles to Westwood. I'll actually show you where actually it starts. Here's the railroad depot. It follows the whole Susanville River, and then it stops. Here's Westwood Junction, and there's Westwood here. This is all Paul Bunyan territory. But anyhow, this is 25 miles. Here's the Devil's Corral trailhead. But we're gonna approximately go about to here. There's trestles, there's tunnels. We'll hit a tunnel, we'll hit a trestle, and we'll turn back. But we just want to be able to hike on the trailhead if possible. This is the visitor center, by the way. It's also the railroad depot at one time, but they turned it into the visitor center. Pretty cool. Love this place, man. Just amazing. And you cross the road. This was the old Union Pacific line. Pretty cool. And then the trail just continues on into the woods following the river. We're hiking on the Bizz Johnson Trail, and it follows the route of the old Fernley and Lassen Railroad line. The Union Pacific ran on this line. I'm pretty sure some passenger trains did too, since there's a train depot the people of Susanville could get on and off. But it was established in 1914. It was used for transporting the logs and the timber from the Westwood mill. When the mill closed in 1956 and in 1978, the Southern Pacific Railroad received approval and they discontinued the line. The BLM took the rails down. And I don't know if you know who Harold T. Bizz Johnson is, but he served the House of Representatives from 1958 to 1980. And he was instrumental in creating rails to trails for recreational use. What they would do is they'd remove the rails, and then you could use them as a bike trail, if that makes sense. This line heads to Westwood, 25 miles away, where there's a Paul Bunyan statue. This is Paul Bunyan territory. They even have a logging road named Paul Bunyan. And it follows the Susanville River. A lot of open forest the first 4 or 5 miles. And then you follow the Susanville River. There's a bunch of trestles, bridges. There's 2 tunnels. I hope to at least see one today. Then I can do some EVPs or something there. If you want a little more history, in 1978, the Southern Pacific Railroad, and I know I said Union Pacific, but now I think, well, Union Pacific and Southern Pacific, I believe, merged. But anyhow, in 1978, when the Southern Pacific was operable here, it did receive the approval to abandon the old Fernley-Lassen Railroad line. And as I said, the depot had to be for passengers, because from 1914 until around 1956, there was a small passenger service here. And then of course the abandonment became in 1978, and then the BLM from there decided to purchase it. And today the 30-mile segment, a hawk or an eagle. Oh yeah, a lot of bird life here. Anyhow, Tammy says it's a hawk, but they also have bald eagles here. It's just, there's also a horse. Let me see if I can show you. There's a lot of little ranches and corrals along the trail too. So there's lots of bird life. I can also hear the river trickling. Some little rapids. I decided to choose this trail because, you know, there's nothing like hiking an old railroad trail. Kind of makes me feel like the movie Stand By Me, where you're hiking along the tracks. You know, Susanville's a real quaint place. It's a lovely town. It's the type of place where anybody can come out here and enjoy the hiking that it offers, the scenery, the brewery. You know, honey, I hate to say it, but I don't feel like running back, so if I have to use fucking leaves, I will. I'm primitive and resourceful. Of course, I'm sure I'll have to go by 2 miles. Come up on an old, this would be a trestle that went over the road. South Lassen Street Bridge, 1916 to 1998. That's pretty cool. Look, the river's right below.
It's a river? It's like stagnant water.
I don't even see any fish in there, but yeah.
Oh no, there's somebody with a pickup.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, it might be another stray in Susanville. Yeah, folks, we ran across a little stray. He's pit bull, black pit bull, cute dog. Had his tags. His owner wasn't even around. I couldn't even grab him. As you can see, the rails stop over here. There are no more rails. You just continue to take the trail. This is a mountain biker's heaven here. Mountain bikers love to take this trail. It's a good 25-mile trek. I probably would take this trail if I lived here and I had the time. And take my kids on it. It's just one of those very quaint and wholesome type of trails that people should take. If you're going to go to Susanville, check out the Bizz Johnson. It's just totally worth going to. It's one of the top hikes in the area. You'd have to be nuts not to take the Bizz Johnson. We'll also go to the Susanville Park Ranch. And then we'll hit Eagle Lake and hopefully Ash Meadows to go see some antelope today. Either way, each place holds, it may not hold a lot, you know, there may not be Bigfoot here, I mean, there could be. You might find a track in the mud on the side. This is the national forest around us. You know, the tunnels might have hauntings. When they made these tunnels, men died. They used dynamite. It wasn't safe, but they had to make the tunnels go through the mountains. So those tunnels are haunted today. Most railroad tunnels in this area are haunted. So I'll keep you up to date. It's just a little quick clip of the beginning of the Bizz Johnson Trail, and you can see how there's no more railroad ties or railroad beds or grades. They've ripped it all up. But Bizz Johnson was the man responsible for the rails to trails. They have them all over Florida, rails to trails. One night I hiked on one for about 10 miles, and they paved it and everything in Florida. We went on about 3 different ones in Florida, and they pass little historic sites and ranch land. It's nice. The only thing you don't have in Florida is mountains. Here you have mountains. This goes past peaks and mountains and along the river. There's a lot of nature. It's very scenic. It's a great place. A great place. A lot of little offshoot trails too. This is your founder of the Paranormal and Ghost Society. We're more than just a paranormal group. Completed in 1914, as I said, the branch line served as a newly developed logging community of Westwood, home of the Red River Lumber Company. Central Pacific Rail, later Southern Pacific Railroad, operated the line and provided the essential link between Westwood Mill and the railroad's main line in Fernley, Nevada. The line carried logs, milled lumber for 40 years, and then in 1933, passenger service was suspended. I didn't have that info. Now I know. By 1940s, the Red River Lumber Company in Westwood operated the world's largest pine mill. The Red River Lumber Company sold Westwood Mill in 1944. Fruit Growers Supply Company operated the mill until 1956, when the mill closed and the need for the railroad line ended. And by 1976, as you know, the BLM took it over. With the support of the Alaska National Forest and many community groups, initiated the rails to trails conversion. In 1978, the Southern Pacific Railroad legally abandoned the unused line. Obviously, today it's the trail. Today, Westwood is a quiet mountain town boasting 25-foot tall redwood statue of Paul Bunyan, a reminder of historical importance of the logging community. Interpretive displays located in Westwood Museum explain the golden era of logging and railroading. The western half of Fernley and Lassen branch line was once alive with logging camps, spur lines, and switching stations, and now the remnants of these historic activities can be seen along the trail. Yes, there could be not so much Bigfoot, but if I run EVPs, I could get something ghostly here. Like I could possibly get an EVP, I could get a reading, I could get the sound of lumberjacks talking. See, the thing is about EVP, you can get residual sounds. You could get ghost trains. I could get a ghost train, a ghost dog, a ghostly human talking. Because EVP, electronic voice phenomena, picks up frequencies my ears can't hear. And that's why it's so successful when we do it. Or when we perform EVP, we always get something at every location. You can see my recorder. So you know I'm going to try to get something ghostly here. I mean, I have to. There's some flowers. Little yellow ones. There's a lot of flowers and wildlife, so we're going to keep our eyes open for that too. The rails are all gone, but the history still remains. There's also a hobo camp nearby. And you have to figure, as you hike along this trail, at one time, there was dozens of lumber camps along the trail. So you had small, like in the Nevada, you see a lot of mining camps where 100 guys may have lived in tents and shacks and stone houses, and they may have had a few shops and a saloon. Same concept here. The lumber camps would have maybe a few tents, maybe a trading post, a couple saloons. Here's the Susan River. Isn't she pretty? This is like a good smoking spot down there. Wow. Cool. We're kind of in this canyon or ravine. You can see the big cliffs. Those cliffs are a couple 100 feet down. Ah, we're crossing the river. There's also a lot of historical remnants. We found a concrete block with a piece of metal in it. Look, this is the old metal trestle. Wow. There's the river. Wow. How awesome is that? Some yellow flowers up on the hill growing there. Hi. Look at the yellow flowers. The Susan Bridge. Remnants of the past. You can see when they designed the railroad, they had to design it along this rock. Of course, all of them collapsed. Back in the day, sometimes you'd be driving the train and the engineer would be like, you know, have to stop the train because there would be a boulder on the tracks. You have nothing but rocks on both sides of the road. The creek continuously crosses the old railroad line, back and forth, back and forth. And then you got the river. Right now the river's to the right. That's all national forest. It's very thick. You know, Bigfoot may not come onto the trail, but he may come down from the other side, the national forest, to get a drink, like in an area like that. Nobody's going to get over there. It's very unlikely anybody's going to be able to cross the threshold of the river. I have to head back because Tammy forgot to get the tripod and it's sitting on my truck. Women, you can't live without them and you can't live with them. And on investigations, Tammy tends to forget the important things like the tripod and backpacks and equipment. So I really have to be very meticulous when I put together these investigations, and make a noted list about what we need, what we don't need. Just wanted to show you some remnants of the past. There's also a hobo camp nearby. We're not going to hike out to the hobo camp, but it's here. The hobos used to live there when the railroad went by. They'd all be camping out. Some of them would hitch a ride on the train, since the train goes through a variety of towns all the way to Nevada. We'll be back with more footage. Oh, there's a bunch of old railroad. Look at that. Old railroad ties. What is this, restrooms?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh my God.
Clean restrooms. Yeah, look.
Heaven is here.
Look how clean it is.
Cleaner than the damn Chevron gas station. Holy crap. Awesome. Alright, cool. Now the Susan River is on this side, right below this deep ravine. These cliffs are huge. You can even see on this side it's kind of steep. I see some purple flowers up here. How am I going to climb to get those? Oh man. Alright. I'm climbing to some purple flowers. This is going to go over real well. A straight up climb. I need to take the backpack off. The things we do for flowers. There's a little adventure in all of us, correct? Holy crap, this is steep. And it's muddy. Ah, shit. shit. There's thorn brush everywhere. Oh yeah. Here we go. This is what I seen from 100 feet away. It's purple flowers. Yeah, it's pretty steep down. Whew. Need to be really careful. This is so soft, I can't even get a grip. Whoa. Oh, shit. Whoa. Man, I slipped on that mud right there. All that for purple flowers. That's dedication. Purple flowers and restrooms of the past. Actually, that's not that old. Maybe 20 years old. Pretty cool. The Bizz Johnson Trail is gorgeous. I gotta hike further. I gotta see if we find the tunnel next. We're on a trestle, folks. You can kind of see the Susan River. It's very woodsy. We've left Susanville and now we're hiking in the Lassen National Forest. I'll tell you what, if you ever come to the Sierras, you're gonna realize there's dozens of wilderness areas, wildlife refuges, wetlands, marshlands, lakes, streams, hundreds of lakes, hundreds of creeks and streams and rivers. Also, there is multiple national forests. You got Tahoe National Forest, El Dorado National Forest. You have Sierra National Forest, Lassen National Forest, which we're hiking in. Just a lot of different national forests. Plumas National Forest, and the list goes on and on. Yosemite is an entirely different national forest too. And I've been to a lot of national forests in the Sierras. There's only a couple I have not been to or hiked at. Eventually I'll hike in them all. And this has a different type of foliage and fauna here. Different bird life. We've seen these yellow birds. I had tried to get a photo, but my camera fell and was out of focus, and it came out blurry, and it was a good photo, it was just blurry. I turned my camera on, and by then, when it focused, the bird flew off. But we'll try to get one for you, because I want people to see the kind of bird life that's here, too.
Oh, did you see that when I just flew by?
Yeah, he's down here.
Orange and yellow.
Orange, yellow?
Yeah.
He went down here. Oh, there he is. Nope, he's gone. We just seen an orange. I don't know if I got him on film. I'll have to check. When I was filming straight ahead, there was an orange yellow bird.
His whole belly was like...
The belly was orange, right?
Bright orange yellow.
And then yellow, maybe that's the male. Maybe we see the yellow ones are female and the orange and yellow could be male. Yeah, because they like to...
He's up there naturally.
Where? Do you see him?
No. Oh yeah, right there. See him?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there. Ah.
Ah. He's gone.
Dang it.
Oh well. Is he back?
Good morning.
Morning.
He's just messing around.
He's flying everywhere. I can't get a photo if he's flying everywhere. Nice mudslide. That tree will come down, folks. But look, there are cliffs. This is a pretty deep ravine or canyon that we're in. You could picture back 30, 40 years ago the railroad coming through here. Southern Pacific. Union Pacific.
On the track up ahead. How would they know?
You just don't hike here in the winter where there's snow. It's too steep. It'll all cling to these trees and rocks. And all it takes is one little noise or vibration, it all comes down. I won't hike in the winter here. This is dangerous with the cliffs all around. Yeah, folks, if you're listening to this video, I also do a lot of safety. This is avalanche country right here. You do not want to take this during a time of snow build up. I've seen it a dozen times in the news, people killed by avalanche hiking on little trails like this, because you wouldn't think there's danger, but there's cliffs along here. Oh wow, those are, I've never seen those. What the heck? Some of them aren't budded yet, but Lassen Forest might have new type of plants, huh? Look, there's that rock with the holes, remember?
Yeah.
I always thought they were meteorites. Hell no. They're volcanic rocks. There's another one. I have a nice black one with holes in it, and it's round like a baseball. Go back, more footage. We're in the Lassen National Forest. Remnants of the past. Got an old post here. As I was telling Tammy, they had lumber camps, much like mining camps. You had your basics, your saloon, your trading post, maybe a general store. A lot of cliffs right here. A lot of tents. They take the native stone and build stone cabins with one room and a fireplace. Lumber was gold in this region. You could picture the Southern Pacific traversing this canyon right along the edge of these cliffs. I bet that would have been a wonderful sight back in the day to see. You could hike along the tracks. When the train goes by, you could film or take pictures of it with your Polaroid camera. Because the train didn't run. It was abandoned in 1978. 3 years after I was born. It's trips for my birthday. And I'll tell you what, whether I get paranormal or not, I don't really care. If I get paranormal or I get a good picture of some wildlife, that's the best birthday present I could have. Besides going to the Lassen Ale Works and Pioneer Saloon, that place had good food. You know, I mean, I went in there with my top hat, my cane, and it was pretty funny. Because they're not used to people like me. I'm real eccentric. And everybody just stares. There's another post. My skull cane, my top hat. I dressed nicely. Nice white dress shirt. Classy men should wear top hats and carry canes. It's really nice to be able to share stories with you about my life and my journeys. But we went in there and I ordered for $8. I was able to try all their ales. It's a brewery. They had eight different varieties. Some were more bitter, some had a sweet taste. Some were mixed with chocolate and espresso and mocha. If you like beer, that's the place to go. They had good beer. And I'll tell you what, the Philly cheesesteak with the American cheese and the red peppers was awesome. It was a much different Philly than the Phillies I get in Nevada and Virginia City. It was good. And garlic parmesan fries and beer battered mushrooms. Oh man, that was a meal. I had 40 ounces of ale last night, and you know what? And I'm glad I drank every bit. It'd still take about another 20 glasses to knock me to the ground. But you know what? I'll tell you what. With some of the best brew I drank in a long time, a couple of them 5 ounces, I gulped them. I was like, yeah, because it was so good. After we investigated a cemetery, we went out to dinner. It was kind of a birthday dinner for my girlfriend and I, but part of what we do is also we give reviews on good eats, diners, awesome restaurants, and breweries and saloons, and I give them a review on their Facebook, their Google, and on the Paranormal Ghost Society website so we can give them business. If I feel that the customer service was adequate and very friendly atmosphere, good food, and good spirits, you're going to get a 5 every time from me. And I'm going to send my friends to these places. I send all my friends to these places. They ask me, where can I go in Susanville? Where can I go in Virginia City? And I'll tell you straight up, because I've been to all these ghost towns and semi-ghost towns and historic towns throughout the Sierras, so I can tell you what's good. And so we'll keep covering. Right now I'm looking for bird life. I think we've seen a couple hawks or eagles in the sky. There was a giant bird's nest. It was an eagle's nest, high up in a dead tree. Pretty cool. This is the old railroad bed of the Southern Pacific, the Bizz-Johnson Rail Trail. It goes 25 miles, 30 miles to Westwood Station, where there's a Paul Bunyan statue. This is Paul Bunyan territory. It's kind of funny, because every county or area we go is some kind of territory. They haven't had Davy Crockett territory, but we got Paul Bunyan. We're also near Klamath Falls, not far from there, where the Patterson film was produced. So not only do they have Paul Bunyan up here, but they have Sasquatch too. And boy, I'd love to see him. I'd love to just see him crossing the trail right now. I'd be tickled pink. I swear to God, I'd have to go out to a bar and get drunk tonight if I seen Bigfoot cross the trail. That'd be like a celebration. Most people would run and not tell their story to anyone. I'd be like, yeah, I was on the rail trail and Sasquatch looked at me as he crossed the trail. I almost wanted to hug him. Wouldn't be a good idea. Probably run off, or either that or carry me off. Who knows? This is your friend, founder of the Paranormal Ghost Society, Lord Rick. Have an old telephone pole here. Just more remnants of the past. This is all wilderness. You have to understand, when you start getting a few miles in, you see a lot of hills, and cliffs, and wildflowers, plant life, rock formations. There's a tunnel. There's some big trestles. We're not going to see everything. Like I said, it's a 30-mile trail. I'll try to take everyone at least to the tunnel and back. Because you never know. The tunnel might have some good EMF readings or some EVPs from someone who maybe died building it. As an investigator, we must keep an open mind in our work. Not everything is paranormal. But if you can go to a certain location, let's say I go to the tunnel, I get an EVP, and it's not Tammy or I, you know, we can declare the place. We can say, hey, this old railroad line is also haunted. But I can't say that for sure unless I have undeniable evidence. So I'll go to the tunnel. I'll see if there's anything in that tunnel. The tunnel would be the best place to look. Chinese men that built these tunnels in this region, they died. They used black powder and dynamite. Now, since it was built in the later 1900s, there's a bird right there. They probably didn't use the dangerous methods that they did in the 1800s. The road less known. That's what this is, the road less known. That tunnel's got to be up ahead. We're hitting walls of mountains. Wherever there's a mountain range coming through or a couple peaks, they would just drill through the mountain. They wouldn't go over it. This looks more like a road, huh? They have a gate, so I'm sure the BLM actually is who takes care of this. They probably drive through and make sure the area is safe. People are using appropriate campfire pits, not burning the place down or doing something they're not supposed to. We have to take care of these places, or they will cease to exist. I'm trying to find the old tunnel. We may not be able to get to it or find it, so Depends on how far we go or how far it is. The lady said it's 1.5 miles up. We've gone 1.5 miles. It's still not here, so we'll give it a little more. Patience is a virtue when you're doing this type of work. Isn't this beautiful and serene? Imagine the Southern Pacific coming down here in this deep ravine and canyon. It'd be sure a sight to see. Also be careful when you hike here of rock slides. After a good rain like yesterday, all the rocks start to loosen up and they could fall. An example of a hazard. Whoa! Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I was just zooming in to see what kind of animal that was. It turns out it was a squirrel. But I thought it was something else at the time when I looked at it. I was like, oh yeah, what is that? And then I seen the bushy tail. I was like, ah, squirrel. There's a few new flowers that are growing here in Lassen that I have not found south of here in the Sierras. So we will share those flower pictures on our website. Actually, when we do our paranormal investigations for educational purposes, I will post all the types of local fauna, all the flower life, all the wildlife I can get, and I'll post it on our website because it's important to kind of know what kind of wildlife is here. And you got to take that into consideration. Let's say you find a Bigfoot track, you have to correlate the wildlife. Does he eat small game? Is there enough animals for him to hunt and gather food? Is there berries? Certain flowers can he eat? Or I know that my grandmother used to take dandelions, mix it with a dressing and some other greens, and make a salad with the dandelions. So there are certain plants that Bigfoot can eat. With the creek here and it being so remote, we're in the Lassen National Forest. Anything could be up here, even if it's a well-used area. Who knows what's up beyond those hills and comes down for a drink at night. So we'll keep checking. The tunnel might be up ahead. If it's not, we'll have to turn back because we have too many other places to do. However, it's been beautiful. There's a lot of wildlife. Now we're starting to get into conifer trees and pines and aspens, and there's multiple pine trees and firs that are out here. Train may not come through here anymore. It did once at one time, and you could just picture it. It must have been a beautiful ride for the engineer to do this trek. This is what the Wild West is about. It's more than just about shootouts and saloons and ghost towns. People forget that the Wild West, this is immigrant pioneer country. This is what it's really about. Everything is surrounded by wilderness. All the small towns, old railroads, wagon roads. It's all here in the Wild West. I want people to enjoy it. Don't take for granted what we do. There's a post up there. We'll finish off with that. Some remnants of the past when they were doing lumbering and had lumber camps along the railroad. Now this is a sight I like to see. We're at the train tunnel, 5 miles in. Everybody gave me I asked 3 people and they all gave me the wrong amount of mileage of how far it was. We're nearly at the 5 mile mark. I realized I'd hike 5 miles in this place. But we're here. We're at the tunnel. We can go to Susanville Park Ranch, go to Ash Meadows Wildlife Refuge, maybe see Eagle Lake today, eat at Hart's Cafe for dinner, and call it a day, right? This is what I wanted to get a tripod picture of. It's not something you see all the time. A train tunnel that you can physically walk in and investigate and check out. A lot of these tunnels are haunted. We did the Donner Lake Railroad Tunnel. Some were a mile long. Very haunted. There's also a lot of cults that go up there and practice the occult. There was a little altar in there. Water and snow was seeping through. It was the real deal. Found some strange tracks, like something was following us. Made toe marks in the snow. Views of Donner Lake, where the Donner Party had physically broke down in the Sierras and resorted to cannibalism. Most horrifying pioneer story in the Wild West. And now we're standing in front of another grand tunnel up outside Susanville on the Ben Jonson Railroad Trail, where the Southern Pacific ran through here and passenger service. We're here. Into the darkness we go. I brought my EMF detector with me, EMF Gauss, and it seems to be going up just a little as we enter. I gotta be careful, I cannot talk much because there's a huge echo inside this tunnel. Into the darkness we go. We're also going to go to Susanville Ranch Park. 27 miles of trails. And Ash Meadows Wilderness. Ash Creek Meadows, sorry. I'm taking EVPs. We still don't have a high EMF reading. If anybody's here with me, give me a sign you are here. Please talk into the recorder. Please let me know if you are with me. Make your presence known. Can't even see me. I don't even have a flashlight. These cyclists have lights on their bike. My flashlight's in my bag. Of course, it would have helped to have brought it. Could be rats. Could be a mountain lion hiding in here. Who would know? Light's getting brighter. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. Nice little finale for this expedition. Granted, I went 5 miles in. There's 20 more miles, 30 more miles almost. No, about 25 more miles worth of rail trail here. Another tunnel. Not just another tunnel. Some pretty big trestles up ahead. We won't get to see them because we have to move on. But we are out, not out of the woods, just out of the tunnel. Out of the tunnel. Tunnel closed by used bypass trail. Look at all the graffiti. Wow. It's about a few hundred feet in length. Wow. Beautiful volcanic spires. Lassen has many volcanoes. Some are still kind of active, where the lava is just building up underneath the calderas, and these volcanoes will erupt every 100 years. Not like Pompeii, but decent eruptions, where they'll let off some steam, some gases. This is gorgeous. To be able to share this with everyone, to be able to share this with all of you. And here's the Susan River. So green out here, so many rock formations. Wow, I'm in paradise. Just want to thank everybody for watching our videos and our journeys. This is Lord Rick of the Paranormal and Ghost Society. Check out our website, www.paranormalghostsociety.org. We are more than just a paranormal group. We're leaving. We're not out of the woods yet. Actually, the woods and the high desert and the Great Basin are all part of Susanville. But these volcanic rocks, vents, extinct volcanoes in the region, a lot of domes in Lassen. But this is an example of some volcanic rock just hanging on a hinge. And then you have the beautiful Susan River here. It's a little low. And this is the old railroad bed for the Southern Pacific that ran from Fernley all the way out to Susanville. There's a station called Westland Depot. And then you had one of the largest lumber mills in the region. And then along the way you had lumber camps on this 30-mile stretch. We went about 5 miles in, and we're headed about 5 miles out. And our day is still young. We have 2 more hiking areas to do. On one of them, it might just be casual walking, and I'll look for some tracks. You know, I have to make sure we save ourselves for tomorrow. We got a waterfall hike, which is kind of steep, and another steep hike up to Cinder Dome, which is actually a volcano, and you can walk inside the caldera. And those are both, they're not the longest hikes, but there is elevation gain. And when you're hiking for 3 days straight, you'll start feeling it by the 3rd day. Because then by then you're putting on 40, 50 miles on foot, if that makes sense. And you don't have much rest time, it's just go, go, go. But you get to see a whole lot. You get the more you do, the more you're gonna see. That's the truth. You gotta adventure to see things. You gotta put yourself in that situation. But when I come out here, there's a lot of people who like the birds and the wilderness. I didn't get too many bird photos. There's a lot of exotic birds. They never sit still. My camera was out of focus. It's having some problems. I got to send it in. We use our gear. It gets broke. It happens. We're in the elements. It gets wet. So we have to send it in for repairs and adjustments, and that's the case. I didn't get too many birds, but there is a lot of wildlife here. A lot of pretty rock formations. The river's pristine. But there's other types of wildlife. A lot of flowers I took pictures of. We'll post them on our website. A lot of scenic photography. One could picture being on a passenger train coming through here. Like I said, then they had the lumber camps. There are like small little towns throughout here. You can see the old post. Lumber was like gold. They shipped it out to these small towns in Nevada to be used in the mine, inside the mines, and building these boom towns. This is Wild West. It's all connected. Wild Western history. And as I was saying earlier, most people come down here and they hike and they have no idea the history. But this is historic, what we are at. Every place is historic, paranormal, and beautiful, and has nature. That's what it's all about. What was it? I just got it on film. A marmot? Let's see if we can get a photo of it. Just went up on the rocks. Maybe inside the rocks. It's probably got a little hole or den. That's where I'd live if I was one of those creatures, huh? Nothing could get to you there. Wow. I got it on film. How about that? Hey, it's as good on film as it is photograph-wise. That was my mistake with the bear. Instead of trying to photograph it, I should have just been bam. But the settings wouldn't switch right away, but I could have at least put it on film and just as is and would have had more luck. Because I only got 5 seconds of it instead of getting all 20 seconds where it stared back at me and walked slow, stared at me, and I thought I got it on film. I didn't record, and then it shut off. It kept shutting off on its own, and the settings kept resetting. So this camera's going in the shop. It has focusing issues again too. I'm definitely going to go with the different cam. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we have a few more miles to get out of here. and we'll head up to Ash Creek Meadows. Check out our website, www.paranormalghostsociety.org, and our YouTube, youtube.com, Angel of Thy, T-H-Y, Night, N-I-G-H-T. So it's Angel of Thy Night on YouTube. Check out our channel, check out our website for hundreds, actually thousands, of adventures, journeys, parties, good eats, good gatherings, great adventures. Everything from catacombs to tunnels to caves to cemeteries to abandoned places, asylums, outdoor wilderness areas, mountains, peaks, volcanoes, lava tubes, ghost towns, mines, UFOs, Bigfoot, monsters, ghosts, demons, oddities, paranormal happenings. Go to the investigation archives. This is the old Southern Pacific route. It's called the Bizz Johnson Railroad. It was a gauge that went off. They had little spurs in the Sierras that went to various ghost towns, including Boca, where we were just at recently. That's a rare flower. Some only show for a couple weeks, and they're rare. Oh, look. I just got them on film again. That's a marmot, I think. Or some new squirrel I've never seen. Why can't you sit still so I can get your photo? So you could smile for me. Well, I got them on film. We're like the National Geographic of the paranormal. We are. I swear. And you know, it's close to my birthday, and Tammy had hers, so we're celebrating our birthdays. And I'll tell you what, the best celebration I could have is to be out in nature. So check out our site, because we go out into nature and we really put in 10, 20, 30 miles of hiking. Night hikes, day hikes, cemeteries, you name it, we do it. And our work just doesn't cover a couple pictures. We give you pictures, media, EVPs, evidence, videos now. We started doing videos for 5 years. It's a success, and we'll continue to do videos. As long as you keep viewing them and liking them and commenting and giving your own input and opinion, awesome. I'll keep doing videos. Everybody wants me to keep trying. Like, put more up, put more up. I'm known as the guy that takes the photos, because we have thousands of beautiful pictures on our site. Back then, cameras weren't good when we started. But the last 5, 6 years, we've used nothing but the most spendy cameras to get you the high definition pictures and footage. Oh, the butterfly. Yeah, tell me about it. He's gone. I'd love to get him. I did get a monarch, I think, on film. Maybe not a monarch. It was orange and black. But that butterfly was yellow and black, and he just flew past my head. It was gone. Bam. It could have ran into my head. Look, this all rocks. There was rock slides here. Wow. Pretty cool.
Who's jetting out? I thought it was a bird, but it wasn't a bird.
Yeah, but the truth is that if it was a buck and small, would a small one have all them antlers? No. A baby, well, there's does, and then they got fawns. A fawn
Doesn't have antlers.
That's what I'm saying. The fawns don't have antlers, but I'm saying a buck only has a couple points at a younger age, and then they lose their antlers and get more points. The older they are, the more points, and they're bigger too and more aggressive.
No, this one probably had like 2 points.
Was it a male antelope looking down?
No, because it had 2 points.
Oh, so it's probably a young buck, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Tammy was telling us that there was a young buck staring down at us. We went to sit on a bench along the creek. Here's the rail trail. Right up above where those rocks are, you can see there's an old post That's history right there, even if it's just a post. And it peeked down onto us, and I looked up and I didn't see it, but she said it was looking down at us, and I must have just missed it and tried snapping a photo, and I didn't capture it, obviously. But I was wondering, I mean, probably a buck, just a young one, looking down at us. Like, how cool is that? This trail, if you want to take this trail, the Bizz Johnson, I highly recommend it in Susanville. I have seen marmots, lizards, butterflies, exotic birds, flowers. There is so much wildlife here. Just in the spring, just take a hike along the river. Enjoy the history and enjoy the beauty, so we can preserve it for our children's children and their children's children. These rocks are about to fall, and real quick, I guess I would say the Southern Pacific had integrated these rocks along their old rail bed. That way, if this collapsed, would it land on the tracks, or would these giant boulders that weigh probably 50 times more than me stop it? You decide.
Little bitty boulder holding. It looks like he's holding up the whole wall.
Oh, that little one? Yeah. That's funny. It probably is. Don't remove. Don't remove, please. Knowing me, I'd cause the whole thing to collapse, and then I'll have rocks falling all on the sides of me, probably break my clavicles and everything else if I don't break my head first. Jesus. Yeah, you don't want to climb on this. There's some basalt on top. Some black basalt, you see it? Black basalt. Down here. A deer? I don't know. Yeah. It's coming this way. There's something walking through the brush. Now it's staying still. Something's in the bush. Could be a deer. I threw a rock down. It didn't even move. And it's right below me. In this thick brush, you can't even see through it. So I cannot see if there's an animal in there. But it's by the creek. It may have been drinking water and ran in the brush real quick. Huh? I don't know what it is. If it was a deer, it would have kept running if it heard the rock. What the heck was it? Wow. That's crazy. What kind of animal just stays still? Even, you know, every time I throw a rock, they always run. And it just stayed still. I went looking down in the bushes. It's so thick down there. I threw a rock down there and nothing would move. Oh, and by the way, real quick, folks, this area was underwater at one time. These are water plants. They only grow in the water. We've seen this at the Stampede Reservoir. These were growing, or were growing, about 20, 30 feet below the water line. Basically, the tops protrude out of the water, and then the stem, or the bottom half of it, is what grows underwater. So up to here would be the water, and then this top part's where it seeds. It falls into the water and more grow. So basically what I want to say is the river came up to the rail bed. Right up to here the river came in this area at one time. But 100 years ago. 100 years ago the river was up to the rail bed. And of course the Indians, Native American people, have hunted and fished along this river for thousands of years. I don't know what was moving in the brush. I just scared those people away. Come back.
I know, man. They're booking it.
Look, they're running with their kid.
I know.
Am I such a bad guy? Just because I got a skeleton cane and a top hat, and now I got a beanie on. It's the beanie. That's what scares them. Am I that scary? Jesus. I keep scaring people, man, constantly. It's like, man, I'm a man with a lot of tales in history. Come talk to me. Be my friend. Let's be pals.
So what if it's me?
What if it's you scaring people away? I don't know. No, most people are not scared of me because when they look at me, they're like, oh, that's just a chill guy. He's got piercings and tats.
They felt like they had to get away because of their dog.
Well, you know, no, most people that I talk to are friendly. I talked to an older guy. He was like 80 years old, and he was talkative, and he asked how I was. I said, how are you? He's like, great day. I'm like, yeah. You know, most people are very friendly. But there are people who stereotype, judge. They do run from things they don't know about, like, for example, UFOs. They want to neglect it and say, well, I seen a saucer, but that's probably a plane, or, oh, aliens don't exist. We're the only ones in the universe, even though there's there's at least 250 Earth-like planets with water that could sustain life so far that we found, I think, in our galaxy alone. There's many planets that are just far away from the sun that can sustain life as we know it. Anyhow, ignorance is bliss. If some people want to run from me, let them run. You know, like I said, I went to buy a backpack, got dirty looks from the lady. She even checked the whole backpack, because I came in with black nails and rings, and I got piercings and tats. But it doesn't matter, because you could have tats, you could have piercings, and you could be one of the most giving people in the world. This is volunteer work, what I do. It's a hobby too, and an interest, and also a lifetime dedication. As a scientist, you want to discover new life and teach it to the world, and I am a teacher. High schools use our website for the history, for the pictures, for the term papers. People use our videos for safety, so they know how steep it is, if they can bring their children, what flowers to look for. Everything we do is done with heart, sacrifice, and goodness. We don't do this for fame or fortune. You know, we sell paranormal equipment. You know, we might get some Google advertising, so click the links. So that way we can use the money towards our website and towards these trips, these beautiful places. We could keep bringing you videos and footage and replace your equipment so you can enjoy videos and pictures. You know what I noticed, folks? Is there's a lot of wildlife here, but it is so hard to capture. It's 50-50. I got a couple birds, but I didn't get them all. They jump tree to tree. This forest is so thick, the birds are hard to get. They go up in the branches. So it's a very dense forest. And Tammy and I thought it was weird. These Sasquatch creatures, they like to get in the river and grab fish. They usually they cup their hands and they drink water. They have to drink enough to sustain themselves. And you could, if you stay in the brush, not even a human could see you down there. If you ducked down and just sat in a little Indian style and just cupped your hands and drank, you could sit there for 2-3 hours. And then when you realize these things have good hearing and sight, nobody's around, you jump the cliffs, you go up over this peak, you're gone. There's woods. You go up over the peak, it's nothing but miles and miles of wilderness. And that's why Bigfoot's sighted up in this region. I have a friend who investigates in Susanville Bigfoot, and apparently it's very prevalent for people to have Sasquatch sightings out here. It's quite an occurrence. It happens very often. Sightings, tree banging, vocalizations. A lot of tracks are found around Lassen, strange tracks, big ones. Even up near Susanville. We're surrounded by national forests on the edge of the high desert, but like I said, this is dense. This here is all national forest. When you get to Susanville, the other end of town, you could see some sand dunes over the set of forested mountains. It's a high desert forest, and it turns into a lush forest that you see here. It gets greener as you go in, and now that we're leaving it, we'll start to encounter less wilderness. But do not get me wrong. There's still plenty of birds to be seen in the next couple miles back. I want to thank everybody though for their support, watching our videos. You guys are fantastic. Our following is in the thousands. To be at Google Plus for a year and to have over 4 million hits is amazing. That's a huge following. That's 4 million. I look at it that I'm thankful for the support we have. People follow everything we do, our journeys, our work, our interests, our adventures, our good eats, our radio shows, our expeditions, our urban explorations, I should say, adventures, off-roading journeys. You guys follow it all. You just like it all, like me. I hope that you feel like you're here. I want people to feel like they're here. This would have been a great passenger railroad. This is not a road. Well, it was a railroad. It's now a mountain bike and hiking trail. We're taking the road less known. This probably came off the Southern Pacific. Every time I think I'm done filming, I see something else to film. Look at that plateau. That's what I love about Lassen. The plateaus, the waterfalls, the lakes, the volcanoes, the hot lava beds, and hot springs, cliffs, volcanic rock everywhere. More volcanoes here probably than anywhere in California. Plateaus with wild flowers growing on them. This is Bigfoot country. This. Enjoy it now. I hope some of you feel like you're with me. I wish I could have so many of you come with me, and I know some of you are so far, but I could tell you right now, well, this is the best I have. That someday you come out here, we'll sit down and we'll put together a series of our own adventures, and we'll do them up. We'll toke, we will drink brews, we'll hike, we'll look for the paranormal. I don't know what that was by the river. It was big and it was walking through the brush 2-3 times. And then I threw a rock down and it stopped. Deer don't really do that. I try to get deer to come out all the time for pictures, and they'll skip along and then you get their photo when they're running. Not in this case. Something had intelligence to stop. It was smart. Then we had that buck staring down at us. Hell, it may have been some monster with antlers. Did you know that there's a few monsters in the United States that have antlers? They are monsters. But that wasn't a monster. It was a young buck. We're just saying, I mean, it was weird the way it peered over at us. It had intelligence. These animals have intelligence. They see people. A bear was here. Look at that dent. I bet you a bear tried to, say, have a chain and they can lock it up. It probably smashed it. Just because this is Susanville or the edge of Susanville does not mean there are no bear or mountain lions. You bring your children here, always keep that in mind. It says, God's not dead. With the cross. So besides the trash can, you have a little graffiti. It's probably not the best idea to spray paint the rocks, even if you are a religious individual. Bunch of squirrels running in front of Tammy. Some cars parked here. I like to hike from the depot. Well, we're out of here, man. Heading back to the depot with the train tracks and the Union Pacific caboose. Having a good old time at the Bizz Johnson Trail. Some remnants of the past. Who knows what went here? Steel beams. These odd foundations. The track split right here. This is a pretty nice railroad. We're back in Susanville. I found 2 lizards mating with each other. I was like, should I film it? Or is it going to be offensive on YouTube? Not that I care if I offend someone, because we're allowed to film nature. The lizard's sitting there humping the other lizard, and I sat there and got a picture of it. I'm like, whoa. Picture's worth 1,000 words. So we'll integrate it into our beginning video so we could talk about the history, show you a few photos, maybe give you a nature gallery. We want people to enjoy our videos, but we are here. So it's time to book. This expedition's over. I've liked the first 5 miles. I wonder what the next 25 miles looks like. I bet you it's pretty cool. The further you go in, the more nature and wilderness that you see. It's really some nice back country. I could see why people like to ride their bikes through here. I would. Wouldn't you?
Really bad.
Yeah.
Now they got cramps in them because I'm trying not to step onto the spot.
Yeah. You like this caboose? How old do you think this caboose is? I mean, they don't make these anymore. I've never seen one with a hub on top like that. That's where the sleeping quarters are, is at the top. You could even open the window on these. It's pretty cool. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, Susanville below. I'm just sitting here, just filming it. There's cliffs. I'll show you it real quick. There's cliffs over there. And these people around the bend just dropped straight off 100, 200, 300 feet in some parts, and this guy almost hit me in the back of the truck. I just want to show you what Susanville looks like from above before I go out into the Lassen National Forest deeper. We won't see this view again. Being above Susanville is just, it's a world in itself. We're heading out to Eagle Lake, Ash Creek Wilderness or Wildlife. But I just wanted to show you what it's like to be above Susanville. Oh yeah. I'm standing on a rock overlooking the entire valley. You can see the Lassen National Forest and all the mountains around Susanville. That's downtown Susanville right there. I seen last night a very bright object hovering in the sky. It was above the mountains. It could be for the airport, but it was a bright light and it lasted 10 minutes. I was doing a night drive and then it just mysteriously blinked out. Could have been a UFO. My girlfriend was driving. She didn't really want to stop. She just wanted, you know how girlfriends are. They all want to get that romantic time in. So it's like, you're not looking for UFOs. You're with me tonight, honey. You know what I'm saying? So didn't really get to film it or photograph it. And we argued about it being a UFO. But I will document it. It was the 15th at 11 p.m. over Susanville, California. Peace.